Is it blurry? Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Mitchell. In today's episode, I'll be talking about what you do to get her is how you keep her. So I do these YouTube lives every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys find this video content of value, share it to your friends, share it to other people. It'll help me out a lot if you hit like and subscribe. But moving on, I have a recap episode that I will be talking about today, which is lead the relationship, but let her pace it. Okay, and the slide is on women love a man with confidence. What's up, Cynthia? All right, so lead the relationship, but let her pace it. And women love a man with confidence. Never tell your problems to anyone because 20% of them don't care and 80% of them are glad that you have it. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't vocalize about it. It doesn't mean that you have to hold everything and never say anything. That's not what it means. It means that at the end of the day, the problem is yours and you got to fix it. Okay. Jimin's wifey, or Jay Parks. The word leader means the person that basically leads, right? He or she takes commands, right? A group or organization or country. Okay, that's what it means. Okay. Now, the number one most attractive thing to a woman is confidence. Don't tell Jay. we got a cheater. When a man takes the lead in the relationship, she sees him as this confident guy. He's this guy that's competent. He knows how to take the lead into the relationship, and that's super, super important, right? Now, I feel like a lot of roles are switched, especially in today's world. Now, this is off topic, but I feel like today's world, the roles are switched, right? They're basically teaching guys on how to be more feminine. Oh, you gotta chase her. You gotta show her how you feel. You gotta know what you stand with her. It's like, no, absolutely not. Don't do that because it's gonna cause her to not want to be around you. What's up, Tracy? Right? It means like, oh, you gotta tell her how you feel, like this and that. And it's like, okay, there's certain ways on knowing how attraction works. Okay, and when you don't display those type of behaviors correctly, she's gonna be repulsed by you. She's gonna take a step back, and she's not gonna really want to be around you, right? Cheater. I'm inviting Jay Park in right now. Yeah, let him know. What's up, Jay? How you doing? Right? So let's move on. So number one most important thing is confidence. Okay, so when a man takes a lead, she sees him as a confident guy, right? You're competent, someone that she can count on, someone that she could respect, right? And it's also someone that has a little bit of an authority. Now, having authority doesn't mean controlling. Okay, being the leader of the relationship also doesn't mean you're controlling, right? Because love is playful and fun, right? And you can have certain things that, as long as it doesn't go against your values, your core values, then absolutely it's fine, right? Like if she'd be like, hey, I really don't like seafood, or I really don't like meat. Can we go for another to another restaurant? And you're like, no, I need someone that eats meat. Then you shouldn't be dating this person, right? Because it'll be wrong for you to just date her because you just want to get in the box. All right. Now, going back, this is not to be confused with the word control, because a lot of people say control, right? That's totally different. Control is an illusion. It's not real. What's up? It's not real, so it's never gonna last, and it shows a lot of insecurities, right? So controlling people insist that everyone do things their way and gets upset when things don't go according to what they want, basically their own interest. And there could be so many reasons why someone could be emotionally manipulative. Usually it relates to a history of trauma. They may have low self-esteem. They might lack confidence. They might feel incompetent, right? They're not competent. They're unloved, or feeling inadequate. You can feel bad for them, but ultimately it's their choice to better themselves. Nah, be nice. Still date him or her. They sweet. Just respect and eat different dishes. Well, okay, so it's gonna cause a lot of friction in the relationship, right? So people that likes the same things tend to like each other, right? So if I'm into fitness, okay, I always use me as an example because it's so much easier. If I'm into fitness and I like taking care of myself, and don't get me wrong, All right, yesterday I had a great time. I ate like shit. I drank alcohol, but I knew my limit, right? And I had a great time, but that's not something that I want to do every single day. I don't want to do that shit. It's gonna fuck me up, right? So I want to make sure that when I do the things, at least majority of the time, I'm doing something good for myself, right? Now, 20% of the time, have fun. Go enjoy yourself, right? Now, going back to controlling people, right? Like I said, you can feel bad for them, but ultimately it's their choice on whether or not they want to better themselves, right? Now, when a woman loses respect for a man, the relationship is pretty much over, right? Basically, it's like, well, you no longer have that type of authority that you said you once were, right? It's like, that's why, like, most people, like for me, I have no problem. It's not me bragging or anything. It's just like, if I know a dance really, really well and I mastered it and I did it long enough for me to like master it. If you tell me to Mitchell, can you go on stage and dance for us? Like, I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I know this song backwards and forwards. Like, yeah, why not? So I done it so much that I could just go up there on stage and just perform, right? And it's easy, it's effortless because I've done it so much. And when I'm at a place up there, it shows like, oh damn, like Mitchell has an authority, right? But off stage, if I act like a bitch and I'm like, oh my god, no, she's not gonna find me that attractive, okay? It's no different than having good looks and then like you're just as mute. You don't know how to ask good questions. You don't know how to have fun. You're not yourself. My best friends are different. Married 12 years plus. Never argued. Never fought. I like it. I like it like that. The man has respect for his wife. Perfect example. He's probably I don't know this guy, but he sounds like a good guy that understands women. Okay. Men who understands women don't argue with them. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't have disagreements, but it also shows that, look, he has a wife that's easygoing and easy to get along with, right? Someone that respects boundaries, right? And that's great. But most people I see arguing all the time. Like, you go to a Target, go to Walmart. Walmart's the easiest place to get into a fight with anybody. Or you can see other people get into arguments with their wife, right? And it's like, do you want to be mediocre? No, you're not. No, you don't. And that's why you're here today and you're watching me. All right. So let's talk about the meat of the relationship. And it's called the beginning. Okay. Because what you do to get her is how you keep her. Okay. So Tony Robbins said, if you're coming to the end of the relationship, treat the person like it was the beginning of the relationship and you won't find the end. You won't find an end. Because in the beginning of the relationship, everything was fun. Everything was exciting, right? The honeymoon phase, right? You make her feel excited. You made her feel something. Okay? As a dude, you got to make her feel something. She doesn't, no woman cares about how nice of a guy you are, okay? She doesn't care about that. She only cares about how you make her feel, okay? Direct quote, Coach Corey Wayne, okay? So a woman doesn't care, okay? She only cares about how you make her feel. Because in the beginning of the relationship, it wasn't about you. It was more about her, right? So what does it tell you about relationships? It tells you that when you're in a relationship or whether you're pursuing her, right? Like this kind of casual, hey, I'm trying to get to know you to see if you're even compatible or we're compatible with each other, right? It's always about trying to understand you and trying to give, right? It's always about trying to give to this person. And in the beginning of a relationship, like I said, it wasn't about you anymore, right? Because what happens is when you're in love, anything that person does, and what would you say if you're in love, right? And the example is like, if they asked you to bring out the garbage, if they asked you to wash the dishes, like you'd be like, oh my God, I love to, right? Or you'd be like, oh, can you help me toss those in the washer or the dryer or whatever, right? You'd be more than happy to. Why? Because that's the beginning of the relationship. Everything's new, it's fresh, right? And it's usually when things start to feel like clockwork and where it feels like you're supposed to do something. That's when it's gonna be, and you don't appreciate that. She's gonna be like, what the hell? Like, I'm not your servant, right? So that's what I said. In the beginning of the relationship, that's what it was, right? So in the beginning of the relationship, everything that you do or that person does for you you see them light up, right? You're excited to see that person light up because you're there to give. Now, to maintain this, you always have to have this whole attitude of gratitude. Like, she's not going to stay there forever just because you're with her, right? People break up, there's divorces, and 70 to 75%, 70 plus now, right, of all relationships are initiated by women, usually initiated by women. And so what does it cause us humans to do, right? Rejection breeds obsession. And when that person, which is the guy, right, assuming the guy's getting rejected, it's gonna cause him to be like, oh my god. And because it's not what he wanted, it's what she wanted, it's gonna cause him to be obsessive, which means that, oh, he needs to do something, called the illusion of action, right? Oh, I need to do something. I need to make sure that she knows how I feel. And it's like, it's you do, now you're displaying more and more behaviors that made her feel like she chose the right choice. Like, damn, thank God I didn't fucking stay with this bitch ass, right? I'll make myself laugh. All right, so attitude of gratitude, right? Because when you appreciate what they do for you, you make it feel appreciated, right? You make it feel like, damn, the things that she does for you, it's appreciated. Okay. Now, you can also return the favor by listening to her, right? Not just when things are going down, but like just in general, just listening to her. Like, hey, how was your day? What were you doing, right? Like, and be genuinely curious about how the day was. How was your day? How was your day? And if it wasn't anything interested, then find something interesting to talk about, right? Are you excited to do anything in the future? Or like, what are you excited about in the future, right? What do you want to do? What is something that kind of moves you, right? Now also, you could also, by telling her specifically why the things that she does that you do adore her for. Like, oh my God, I love it when you do this. Like, it just makes me feel like the luckiest guy, right? Luckiest guy. Goddamn. Right? I love the way you do X, Y, and Z, right? Be specific. Be honest, be specific, and be intentional. So it means when you're saying this, you're not just saying this because you just want to glorify her, right? Because feminine energy grows through praise. And when you praise her, like, when I come home and you always fix the bed, right? That's something that, yeah, guys don't do that, because you know what? Guys are being taught like, oh, you need to be like this. You need to be a man. She needs to do this. It's like, no one needs to do anything in a relationship. And yeah, you might be able to get a girl or get a woman into a relationship by having those authorities, right? But what happens is, if you're in a relationship and you're making her do certain things where it feels like she's a servant and she needs to do this because I'm the one that's making the money and I'm providing this house, it's like, none of that shit matters. Okay? It only matters how you make her feel. And if she doesn't feel appreciated, even for like the tiniest things that you do, well, guess what? It's not gonna make her feel excited for her to want to do it, right? Because we're creatures of habit, and if we're being rewarded by certain things, like, damn, like when I just fixed the blanket, right? I just fixed the blanket. It didn't take much effort, but especially if he sees it and he walks in, he'd be like, every time I walk through the door, like you always have something ready, and there's something about that just makes me want to. Anyways, did you eat yet? Let's go get some food, right? Like, love is playful and fun, right? You're thinking about the other person's best interest. So it depends on your intentions. So now, like I said, you go into the relationship to give, right? Now, the main question is why and where? Like, where did it stop and why did it stop, right? When did you realize you stopped giving? When? Yeah, and don't scold each other. Men who understands women don't argue with women. You don't argue. In my opinion, arguing with a woman is you're always gonna lose. Okay? You're always gonna lose, and the reason why you're arguing is because you got no other backup. So you try to logic and reasoning as to why she feels a certain way is inadequate and it's not right. Right? You're not gonna win. Okay? What are you gonna win? You're gonna win yourself to the couch that day, or you're gonna be sleeping on the couch. You bet your ass I won't. Okay? I'm gonna sit over here. You better keep your hands off of me. Okay, don't worry. I will see who's gonna touch each other. Yeah, all right, whatever. All right, just leave me alone. I'm tired. All right. Love is playful and fun. So, like I said, the question is, why do you stop giving? Why? What happened? Right? Sleep. No blanket. No, you sleeping in a tub. All right. So how do you get back into the same happy, loving place in a relationship? That's a good question to ask, right? Ask yourself, right? Because like I said, the purpose of all relationship is there to give. Okay, you're there to give. Now it doesn't mean like, oh my God, please take this, because if you take this, you're gonna love me. It's like that's coming from a place of weakness. I'm talking about you're there to give, and you share each other's happiness, right? You share each other's joy, right? Like you're not there to be like, oh my God, you're the best thing that ever happened to me, right? Like it's like, no, it's like I'm happy that you're here with me. I get to share this joy with you, right? And when you have something great, we get to share this, right? We're here to share each other's completeness. Now, when I'm here to be like, oh my God, you're the best thing that ever happened to me, it's like it just tells me that I'm inadequate and I'm not enough. What's up, Kay? And I'm not enough. If I'm not enough, a woman wants a man that she feels like he deserves to be there. And if I'm like, oh my God, you're the best thing ever, does it feel like I deserve to be there? Probably not, right? So you're there to give your happiness, share each other's happiness, your joy with each other, so that you can share these moments with each other, right? Now, the downside of this is, next slide, is when it's about you, it is no longer about the relationship, right? When it's about you. So be careful switching everything back to yourself, right? When you're facing each other and you're just like, okay, but now you're just like, well, I'm not getting this and I'm not getting that. Same thing goes for intimate relationship, or if you have kids or whatever, right? The same thing goes. It's like the reason why you're mad is because if you have kids and they don't act the way you want, it's about you again, right? It's about you. Now, if it's something that like they definitely should not do, then absolutely have authority, right? But you know, if they don't eat certain things or they just don't like certain things, like we'll try to maybe find an alternative. They try to find a way in, not a way out. Okay, because kids model who you are. They're a direct reflection of who you are. So be careful with that. Okay, because it's about you again. It's about what you want from them, and it's not about what they want anymore, right? So Tony Robbins. So big shout out to Tony Robbins for this episode, and Coach Corey Wayne too as well. But Tony Robbins had a quote. It says, when you start measuring, it's no longer about love. Sleeping in a doghouse. I hope it's nice and lit, and it has a video game. I can play video games. Nah, sleeping in a dog. I'm gonna have the best fucking doghouse. Okay, you better sleep in a dog. Absolutely. Bring my computer. I'm gonna have a fucking great time in there. You're gonna be like, oh my God, you can't have a good time. Washing dishes hits different for men. What do you mean? When you start putting your needs before your partner, it becomes about you. It's no longer about the relationship. Putting your own feelings and needs first, right? So, you are the best. You're best thing ever happened, and never listen to that bullshit. I think it depends on how it's said and the intention behind it, right? Like, damn, you're amazing. You're an amazing wife, right? You're amazing at X, Y, and Z. Nah, you get no electronics, no thermos. So washing dishes. It's like washing dishes is entertainment. I don't know. I think it's more like this whole nurturing thing, right? When they wash dishes and like they look good doing it, I'm like, put those dishes down and get over here, right? There's something about it. I don't know, right? And yeah, don't wash dishes in booty shorts. Just don't. It just. Anyways, I'm talking too much. What about relationship isn't moving forward? Like women wanting to get married and man is okay with just how things are. So it just tells me that things aren't aligned, right? Things are not aligned in alignment of what they want. So it's important to talk about things that you want, right? If you want to get married and he does not, or you want kids and he does not, or vice versa, or whatever. It just tells me that you guys don't have similar values. If things are not valued, okay? And it's like, well, is staying in that relationship going to make it any easier for you in the future? But you're like, well, and women they like to do this. It's like, oh, he will change. Eventually he will change, right? Yeah, booty shorts are essential. He will change eventually if I do this, if I do that, right? And it's like, really, you gotta ask these certain questions. Like, do you ever plan on getting married? And you're basically asking him to see whether or not he's gonna answer honestly. If his answer is like, no, I don't see myself ever getting married, then staying in that relationship is not aligned to your own values, right? Yeah, it's not gonna last. It's like, if you have different religious or political views, it's gonna make your relationship a lot more difficult. Yeah, Tony Robbins' voice is just deep, okay? He sounds like a dude. I put people to fucking sleep. Anyways, putting your own feelings first and your own needs, right? That's not about the relationship anymore, right? So, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons, okay? It's called a discipline because you do something even when you don't want to do it, because you don't always feel compassionate. You don't always feel unconditionally loving, and it's normal. It's a feeling, right? So when you don't always feel it, it's called a discipline for a reason. And if you don't follow these type of disciplines, you're gonna have regret. So the discipline, even when it's not easy to love, you're still gonna do it, right? And you both need to do it. It's a two-way street. It's not a one-way street, because if you have one foot out the door, it's no longer, it's like you're not really putting your full effort into the relationship anymore. And if you're not going to do that, just get out. Like if you're like, I have to stay in because this is the best thing for now, and you're going to monkey branch, it says a lot about who you are as a person. So be careful with that, right? Now, question you may want to ask is to your partner, and I think this is great questions to ask, because the best thing you want as a person, you want to be able to ask good questions, okay? Because, and you always want to ask questions that person like to answer. Why you gotta be so damn cute for? Can't answer that. I get it. Can't. Oh my god, do you like my eyes? Question you may want to ask, okay? When do you feel most loved? Like, honestly, like, when do you feel most loved? And then she might be like, well, every time when you leave, you give me a hug, right? So maybe physical contact is one of her love languages. So it's also important to find out what your love language is. If you don't know your love language, you could go online, you could search it, okay? And then find out what your love languages are. Yeah, it makes you can't answer that. Oh my god, why you always gotta be so fucking cute? How can you answer that? Oh my god, thank you. Oh my god, right? Another question is, what is it that someone could do that makes you feel like you're the most important person, right? Or what is it that I do sometimes that makes you feel like the most important person, right? And she might be like, well, whenever you talk to me, you always give me your full attention, and I love that about you, right? So when she tells you these certain things, listen to it and be like, okay, she likes this. It doesn't mean you overdo it, but like those are nice things, right? Because or when you call me, when you let me know that you're not gonna come home, or you're gonna be a bit later, or whatever it may be, it's like it makes her feel safe. At the end of the day, a woman just wants to feel safe and comfortable around you. And can she trust you? Can she trust your masculine core, right? And so when you ask these type of questions, you're getting ideas from her. Like, what do you like? And the same thing goes to like, hey, what do you enjoy doing in bed? What's your favorite position? What makes you feel the best? Okay, like these are certain questions that you can ask, because you don't know. Maybe she's just like, I don't like it when you do this, and you'd be like, okay, well, I do a little bit less of that and more of this. Maybe you might enjoy it a little bit more, right? It's a bit sad they coming back late. Yeah. But it happens. Things happen, right? If he has to work and he has to do things. men too zesty. I thought you said nasty. Zesty these days. I feel like there's a lack of masculinity. I love that. But can you explain that a little bit more, Star? Explain that a little bit more. And as you're typing that, I'm going to continue. Okay. So guys, right? When you say something, this is what I said. When you say something and you don't follow along with what you're saying, she's going to remember that. Okay. Women remember everything. Okay. What she was wearing, how she looked, right? When she told you certain things. If you don't remember it, she's going to bring that shit back up. Okay. So remember shit as much as you can. I get it. There's a lot of things to remember in this world. But if you don't remember it, she's going to be like, oh my God, it's not important to her. You're not important to her, right? Same thing goes. It's like, yeah, you remember it all, right? Like, if you don't make her feel great, you ran into to your ex. I ran into my ex. Yeah, so how did that go? How did that interaction go, right? So take accountability. If you forget, if you say you're going to do something and you forget, take accountability 100% and apologize and be like, hey, right? And then I shared this example earlier, but it's not to say, hey, I'm sorry that you're upset, because it's going to piss her off even more. Like, what do you mean I'm sorry that you're upset? Like, you're not even sorry. You're just using the word sorry. Okay. But instead use the word I. Like, I'm sorry I didn't call you when I said I was going to, right? I feel like the newer generation of men are not like what I grew up seeing. My dad took care of my mom and our family and was a protector and provider. It seems like it's too much for an individual. A lot of people are just selfish now. That sounds about right. And also, yeah, I hear this all the time. Like, oh, yeah, modern men wants a traditional woman, stuff like that. But then they don't act like that, right? I would be a bit annoyed, but I knew you would forget. I would be a bit annoyed, but I knew you'd forget. It's scary. But then he asked me to come back. Okay, because it was your choice. Rejection beats obsession, and because you rejected him, he wanted you back, right? Am I right? 75% women initiate breakups, huh? Now, to me, when you have great partners, you have it all, no complications. Yeah, it's about, well, see, and here's the great thing too. If you know you have downfalls and you have some weak points in your, or, you know, filling in some knowledge gaps in between. If you're filling in your knowledge gap as you are becoming a great person and you want to become a better partner for your wife or whatever, whoever, then it's very important to understand who you are and where you are. Okay. If you're a guy and you have more masculine energy, okay, it means that you need to become a leader. It doesn't mean that you're controlling. It means that you become a leader. And what does a leader do? He takes initiative. Okay. And I'm moving forward in my episodes, but I think I have a episode that I'm getting ready to like type up and stuff, which is, you know, being a leader is not a title. It's a choice, right? So I think that's gonna be my title somewhere. But it's not a title. It's a choice. You decide to become a leader when you say, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna take initiative. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the things that I say I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it. And I'm doing it for myself. And then you allow other people, feminine energy, if they want to, and they will come. And they will want to join you because she trusts your masculine core, right? And there's a lot more than that too, of just masculine energy. But yeah, I told him no. Amazing partner, great. See, rejection breeds obsession. He's gonna be more obsessed. But yeah, so this whole apology thing. Look, when you fucked up, apologize. And when you apologize, it doesn't mean you're bad. It means that you know how to take accountability. Okay, that's a strength, like I said. Okay. Now, another quote from Tony is, because most people get into an intimate relationship looking to get something out of it, right? They're always looking out for themselves. And if it's always about what you're gonna get, it's no longer about the relationship. It's not gonna really last. And you might do little things, you might want to like get something from this person, but then you got to question your intention or their intentions, right? It's like, well, most people get into a relationship thinking about what they're going to get out of it. Instead, you're there to give, okay? So don't forget that. If you're coming to the end of the relationship, chances are you're only looking at what you're not getting and what you're not receiving. Am I right? And so in the beginning of the relationship, everything is always about what this person, anything that makes them excited, it lights you up as a person. And you always look at all the great things about this person. But towards the end of the relationship, you only focus primarily on all the bad things about this person, right? And that is a projection of who you are as a person, right? When I get out of relationships, me personally, I like, and it's human nature, and I get it, right? It's like a negativity bias, but I'm like, damn, because it sucks. I don't want to be out of this relationship. I didn't want to get dumped or whatever. So guess what ends up happening? I'm going to be spiteful. I'm going to have these emotions. But it's like, well, let's look at the great things. What have you learned, Mitchell? What have you learned? How did this relationship made you become a better person at the end? And what are some of the great features about this person, right? And it's like, well, I really like how she did this. I really like how she did that. And, she might have set the bar for other people coming into my life. And this is what I deserve. But it doesn't mean I'm going to stop here. It means that I'm still going to continue to better myself and work on myself. But I still have to be careful. I have to be less naive. I got to be more cautious on vetting the next dating prospect, because there's certain things that if you learn something, this is how you're going to operate. And it's not coming from a place of hatred. I'm not coming from a place of being vengeful and spiteful, but it's like, this is what I learned. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to get. And this is what I deserve. Okay. And this is what I'm going to do to become better. So I know for sure that it's coming from a place of being deserved. Okay. I deserve this because I worked hard for this. Right. So it is a strength. A lot of people don't want to take ownership of anything and hold themselves accountable, because it is difficult. I understand that. And most people shy away from it. They like to take a step away, or they ignore you. When you trying to point out something that you disliked, they'd be like, oh, so the other day, I was buying groceries. It's like, no, I'm not talking about groceries right now. And I understand that you don't want to talk about it. So when is a good time? When is a good time to talk about it? Because this needs to be addressed. A lot of women desire relationships, but seems like a lot of them are opting to be single. I forgot, there was an episode that I did in 2030. There will be like, I forgot what's the percentage. I forgot that's bad. There's a big percentage of women being single, but it's not like, oh, I just want to be single because it's easier. But it's more about, well, how can I become better so that I have better dating prospects? Because same thing, right? So men who understands women are loved by women. But what does it tell you about women? It means that also women should be working towards what men want, right? And men, this is what men like. Men like a woman that is a little bit more... The word could be kind of triggering, all right? So it's a fair warning. But she's a little bit more submissive, right? A little bit more accepting, a little bit more allowing. But then I always go back to the men. I'm like, well, if you're the guy that leads and you're not leading properly, she's not going to feel safe and comfortable to open up for you to allow her to want to be safe and comfortable around you. So I always kind of go back to the guy, right? So whenever I'm talking to a guy or in a relationship, my cat. So anytime there's an argument, usually I always ask, like, okay, like, so she's saying this, she's saying that, but what is happening? Like, okay, number one, who's pursuing more? Who's doing the initiate? Who does more of the initiation? If he'd be like, well, we do 50-50. I'm like, well, you're doing too much. Okay, you're doing too much initiation. Okay, it's always better when a woman contacts you first, because then all you have to do is just walk through the door. It doesn't mean that, I need to make sure that she does that, so I gotta, manipulate her into a certain way. But it's like, no, like, you're busy. You got to do what you got to do to stay focused. And when she wants your attention, she's going to want your attention. It's just like a cat, okay? Perfect example, okay? When my cat wants me, she would jump on my lap. She will purr. She would do whatever. But if she doesn't want me, guess what's going to happen? Nothing that I do, when I pick her up, I force her to be on here, she's not going to want to stay on my lap, right? Same thing with a woman, right? It's hard to be vulnerable, yeah, because you're trusting this person to protect you and keep you safe. Exactly, right? And now more and more men are displaying behaviors that is less than that. It's less than that. And then also, guys are being taught certain things like, oh, if you're a guy like this, and then you have to act like this, and then you gotta beat this. Like, these podcasts where they're disrespecting women, like yelling at them, calling them, and like most of them does OnlyFans. It's like, okay. You're showing this group of women that you're dealing with. This is not the rest of the population. Okay? These are certain women that don't belong in your circle. Or at least doesn't belong in my circle. I don't want to date a woman that gives herself to everybody. That's why people talk about body counts. It's like, oh, if your body count's high, it means that if your body count is high, you don't respect yourself and you don't respect your body. And I don't want to be with somebody that doesn't respect herself. It means that you're too easy. You just keep giving everything to. It means you have zero control. And if you can't control yourself and you don't have patience, what does it mean? It means that everything might be great in the beginning of the relationship, but what happens when it turns down a little bit? It means that you're gonna opt to go and do the same exact things that you always did. And the number one most important thing to a guy is loyalty. And if you're not loyal, I wouldn't want that. Now, if I'm just messing around and I'm not looking for a relationship, then by all means, hey, right? Different people want different things, and I understand that. But for me, I wouldn't want that. I want good quality people in my life. I like someone that's easygoing, that's easy to get along with, right? Coach Corey Wayne, right? Easygoing, easy to get along with. That's not drama, right? That doesn't cause too much friction in the relationship. I want someone that's nice and chill, right? Not make my life more difficult. And there was this quote, right, where the woman, you want to make his, I'm gonna say it, you want to make his dick hard. You don't want to make his life hard, okay? Laughing emojis. That's all good. So like I said, going back to that, like, take accountability. If you did something wrong, apologize. Right? Most people go into a relationship looking to get something out of it, right? Now, then you're gonna be having all these expectations, and now if you don't get it, you're gonna be upset, right? But like I said, you're there to give. You're there to give. Because the first thing, like I said, that something exciting, that something great happens to you, like I said, maybe you get a promotion, some great news, right? You just got the deal of your new house or whatever. You just won the bid and you're really excited about that. What's the first thing you want to do? You want to share it with the person that you love. Okay? Because Tony Robbins, the purpose of a relationship is to magnify human emotions. Okay? If your primary emotion is negative or negativity, right? Or you just always upset. You're always bitter about life, right? You hate your job. Nothing is going the way you want it, right? You're a day late and you're $1 short, okay? And you're always complaining. You always need to, rely on somebody. You don't take full accountability of your own life and your own shit. What does it show you when you get into a relationship? It's going to magnify your emotions, right? So when you go into the relationship, you're looking to get something out of the relationship instead of there to give. You can't give what you don't got. If you don't got it, how are you going to give it? So you got to question the intention. When you go into the relationship with somebody, you got to question their intention, right? Are they looking to get something out of it? Are they looking there to give, right? It's a big question that you want to ask yourself. Is this person looking to get something out of this? Versus, is this person loving and caring and wants to share their completeness with me, right? Now, Another big one is Tony mentioned that if you ever, so the third slide, threatening the relationship. So if you ever threaten the end of the relationship, just end it. If you're ever gonna threaten to end the relationship, just end it. Because if you already got one foot out the door, you're already out, right? It takes a full commitment, not a half-ass job in a relationship. Because if you ever threaten it, you're going to trigger the other person to want to press that button first, basically. It's like, oh, I'm gonna leave you if you do this, right? It's like, no, like, that's not what I want, right? There's a difference of saying to somebody, hey, you know, your values and my values are a little bit different. Maybe I must have missed it, and I want someone like this, and you don't have that, and this is not who you are, right? And that's not my job to try to change. I don't want to change you. It's just, it's like this. If I'm Buddhist and you're Christian and you're like, you go to church every Sunday, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, and you want me to do that, I don't know if that's gonna really work out, because our goals and values are not aligned. Like, your values is Christianity and my values is Buddhism or whatever it may be, right? And it's like, well, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. It's gonna cause a lot of friction in a relationship. Do you want to wake up every Sunday and be like, God, shit, I gotta go to church to please her, right? And it's like, no, you want someone that has similar goals and similar values. So that's very important, right? Anyways, back to threatening the relationship. It takes a full commitment, not a half-ass job. If you ever threaten to press that button, right, the other person's gonna be like, well, hey, you know what? If this person got one foot out the door, I'm gonna keep my foot out the door too, right? So be careful with that. Now, it becomes on who wants to do it first, right? Like I said, it might not be today, it might not be next year, but it might happen. It's gonna happen eventually if you're gonna be threatening the relationship, right? Someone's gonna be tempted to press it. So it doesn't matter how pissed off, how upset you are, how drunk or whatever, right? This area is off limits. You never fucking threaten to end a relationship. It's like, you never point a gun at somebody if you're not gonna pull that trigger, right? Same concept. Off fucking limits. You don't threaten the relationship. So threatening. Now, most people, when they do threaten the relationship, they're usually having this some sort of ultimatum, right? A lot of it is coming from a place of fear. Usually, you're trying to inflict onto somebody because of your own fears. Now, when in reality, you're fearful of losing them. Okay, and that's why most people feel the need to feel like they need to threaten somebody, right? They need to feel safe. And usually this is what happens, right? When women are under stress, they become more masculine. They become more quote unquote bitchy, right? They're like this, they complain and whine, right? Men who are under stress becomes more feminine. Okay? They become more feminine. Okay? So if a relationship is about to end, okay, men, what they like to do, it's not what they like, what do they opt to do? Most of the time they over pursue. It causes them to feel like the need of you doing this illusion of action, right? That's what Coach Corey Wayne talks about. Illusion. Oh, I have to do something to get her back. She's not talking to me anymore. I have to do something. Call it illusion of action, right? I need to do this so that she knows how much of a good guy I am, right? Illusion of action. Also, find out where he stands with her. That's very feminine. It's a woman's job to feel like, oh, what is this? What's this relationship? Where are we? Who are we? What are we together? Like, what's going on? I need to know. She needs to feel safe and comfortable. She needs to feel certain. That's what it is, certainty. Because feminine energy is uncertainty. Masculine energy is more certain. Okay. Another one is arguing, right? Like complaining, blaming, right? So, like I said, when women are under stress, she becomes more masculine. And when men are under stress, he becomes more feminine. Okay? So the goal of this whole thing is to manage your stress, because we all operate best when we're less stressed. But it doesn't mean that you don't learn how to manage your stress or be under pressure and still know what you need to do. Okay? Because you want to build that type of resilience. Okay? Now, this is what I suggest to other people. If you know you're not going to be good company because you're upset, you're pissed off or whatever, either you find a way to get back into your center, whatever it is, you're centered, as in like you're calm, you cool down. Otherwise, don't be there, because you're not going to be good company for yourself and other people. You're not going to have a good time, right? He asked you to be his queen, and you felt safe. And when you feel safe around him, because you trust his masculine core, am I right? And when you trust his masculine core, it's going to cause you to be like, oh my God, I could trust this guy. Now, what ends up happening is usually when guys start becoming more competent, he stops listening to her, he stops dating and courting her. It's not going to make her feel safe. It's going to make you feel like he doesn't understand you in general, but it'd be like he doesn't understand women, right? He doesn't understand anything at all. And when you feel that he doesn't understand you anymore, it's like, then you start questioning yourself. Is this the guy that I thought he was once before, right? And it's like, well, you got to be careful. And that's why the title of this is what you do to get her is how you keep her, right? So, threatening to end a relationship. Okay, now the last slide that I have is there wouldn't be an end. There wouldn't be an end. So, woman, feminine energy, and this not disclaimer. I always have to say this just in case. Masculine and feminine energy has no gender. But, you know, to make things simple, I just use woman as feminine energy and men masculine energy. Okay, so woman, feminine energy, they need a reason, right? This is Tony Robbins. Women need a reason to have sex. Men just need a place, right? Men need a place. Yeah, the number one most attractive thing to any guy, to any girl is confidence. If he walks up to you, like I said, like when I was doing a previous live, if he walks up to you, even though you like tall guys or whatever, right? Someone that's fit or whatever, maybe he's a little out of shape. He got a little dad bod going on, right? But he's funny, right? He walks up to you, you be like, damn, I love your hair, right? What kind of product do you use on it? And you kind of find him a little funny, a little attractive. Maybe he said it in a way, and you thought his voice was kind of cute or whatever. I don't know, whatever it may be. You're gonna give him a shot, right? You'd be like, no, I just had to stop you. I just thought you were absolutely gorgeous. I want to take you out. Do you like coffee? Do you like food? Like, are you hungry? I'm hungry as shit right now. Let's go eat. You more than likely you're gonna be like, you know what? I didn't eat. It will be great. Hey, there's a great place down the street. There's a great place down the street. Let's go. Let's just do it. Do you like being spontaneous, or do you like planning things? Stop planning. All right, just come with me. Let's go eat. More than likely, you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, this is great! Yay! Yay! What are we eating? I don't know." Well, okay. Are you allergic to anything? Because the last thing I want is to see you like, it would be a bad first impression if your eyes got like this big, right? But I get it. People have allergies. Are you allergic? No. All right, great. Let's go eat. K-pop music party right? Well, it's easier because if you're at a K-pop party, everybody kind of likes K-pop already, right? That's why whenever I'm at a K-pop thing, I'm like, I feel out of place. I don't know everything. I went to this K-pop store, side story, and I asked him, I was like, hey, yo, do you have any J Park? So he's like, no. And I was like, you call yourself a fucking K-pop? K-pop. You don't got J Park. Anyways, so he's a good listener, right? So, Regina, you're saying that he makes you feel heard and understood. He makes you feel heard and understood, right? Because when he listens, he asks questions, right? So, here's a tip for a guy. When you are listening to your girl, you want to ask questions. Why? Because when you ask questions, it means that you're listening, okay? Give me a question. Give me a question. Or tell me something, okay? Ladies in here. Ask me something, right? And this is where most guys this is how he should respond, right? Yeah. So go to the store, ask them questions. Do you have J Park? Why you gotta ask me these dumbass questions? No, we don't. Interesting. He looked at me, didn't find it. Okay. Okay, anyways, I'm going to continue. So, women need a reason to have sex. Men just need a place, okay? She needs to feel safe. She needs to feel So 3 things. She needs to feel seen, she needs to feel safe, and she needs to feel understood, right? When a woman feels heard and understood, the legs open. When she doesn't, the legs close. Direct quote, Coach Corey Wayne. Okay? She needs to feel seen. So are you dating? Are you courting her? Does she feel important? Is she important to you? That's what she's going to be asking questions, right? So when a woman, maybe you're not in a relationship, this whole courting phase, maybe in the beginning you were like, oh my God, I really like this guy. And now all of a sudden you start taking a step back when he asks you out. Hey, let's go eat. Let's go plan something. You're like, oh no, I'm so busy. I got all the X, Y, and Z. I'm so busy. You're not busy. You're just not attracted to him. He's doing a lot of things that's not because you were once would, put down some of your plan things that you were gonna do, and you're like, I'm gonna put this to the side because I really like this person. I want to give this person a shot because I'm looking for love too, right? You're gonna give him a shot, but when he starts displaying behaviors that's less than masculine, okay, more feminine, right here, right, less than masculine, right, it's gonna cause you to be repulsed. And you're gonna be like, yo, I don't trust him no more, right? So she needs to feel safe. She needs to feel seen. She needs to feel understood. If she doesn't feel safe around you, she doesn't trust your masculine core, right? And when your masculine core is being challenged, most men, right? You opt out. Most men they blame, they bitch and complain, right? They're not taking full personal responsibility, and then he starts acting more like the woman in a relationship, right? More feminine energy. It's gonna cause her to not feel safe and comfortable. She's gonna take a step back, so she's not gonna open to you mentally. So what does it mean in her physical side? Her legs are closing, right? So physically, she's not going to want you. She's gonna be repulsed by you. She's gonna be dry down there, right? And when she's dry, unless there's a medical issue, a woman will always be wet for you, okay? If you do everything right. She's gonna want sex more than you. She's gonna want sex more than you. If you know how to act as a dude, she's gonna want sex more than you. Like I said in the beginning, before, 2 biggest reasons why most women initiate breakups. Biggest reason why there's breakups. She doesn't feel heard and understood, and he stopped dating and courting her. That's why you gotta date her at least once a week or at least 3 times a month, okay? Minimum. If you don't want to do this in this relationship, and you're the guy, like if you're supposed to be the masculine figure or the guy in the relationship, and you complain and you bitch and you just go get a sex change, okay? Don't be mad at me. I'm just a messenger, okay? I don't question things. I'm like, look, talk to the guy upstairs, basically, right? If you're supposed to be the masculine dude, okay, or find a very, very masculine woman in your life that tells you what to do. Either step up or step out. Step up or step out, basically. That's what it is, right? Oh, I don't want that. Everything, both of these are so difficult. Well, just don't be a man. There's options nowadays. Go be a bitch. Okay? Now, because what did you do in the beginning? In the beginning of the relationship, right? Guys love anything you do, right? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Because what you do in the beginning, you dated her, okay? You put your best foot forward, right? You got to make sure all these are nice and clean, yada, 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 right? You will focus on her, right? And less about yourself. And you started listening. You were genuinely curious about who she is and what she does and what she likes, right? It's great that she's beautiful. Yeah. That's why he likes you, right? Because we're more visual creatures. God damn, she got a nice body. God damn, her face is beautiful. Holy shit. Oh my God. And then you start looking at her through rose-colored glasses. It's like, look, her shit still stinks, okay? Her breath probably smells like shit in the morning, okay? Guys love anything you do in the beginning, then months later, they change. Yeah. So it's like the question goes back to, like, what caused you to change? What got you more competent? What caused you to become competent, right? Giving attention and time. That's very important, right? So, know your love languages. That's also very important because some people like gifts. And gifts doesn't mean like, oh, I got to buy you something expensive like a Louis Vuitton person, none. But it's like maybe your love language is gifts. And so maybe you love flowers, and so every time he walks by, this stand and there's a flower and he knows you love roses, he's just like, well, I got you this rose. I was thinking about you today, so I got you some. And that show, and that every time you see that rose when you walk past your kitchen counter, it just reminds you of how he knows about you. He makes you feel important. I realize when they realize how crazy you are. Like sometimes they don't even take your action to heart when they realize how crazy you are. So it kind of goes back to being easygoing and easy to get along with. That's what I like. And if you're not easygoing and easy to get along with, and you're always complaining, and you always, Mitchell, you always, I don't want that. I don't need that in my life. I understand that feminine energy is a little bit chaotic, and I understand that. It doesn't mean that you can't do anything like that, right? It means that, just tone it down a little bit, make it at least kind of feel like you're not always in my space. You know what I mean? He gives me attention all the time. Perfect. There you go. But he's also, here's a gray area. He's giving you all the attention all the time, but he also needs to do something with his life. He needs to have a purpose. He needs to have his mission, his focus. A man without a mission and a purpose in his life is lost. So, and if he focuses on you all the time, right now the excitement's high, but eventually you're gonna be like, well, you can't really provide. You kind of just spend all your time on me. What are you really doing with your life? It's not gonna really cause you to feel safe. Like he's the provider and he's the protector. He's like there to be at your, in your needs, right? So my ex-boyfriend did that one time when I was doing dishes and he bought me roses. There you go. You loved it, didn't you? You're like, I fucking hate roses. At least from you, right? So like I said, if you don't like this, guys, go get a fucking sex change, right? Go get a sex change, or bitch and complain all the fucking time. I don't know, whatever, right? Because in the beginning you started listening. Your attention was on her. You understood her. You were genuinely interested in what she likes and what she had to say. So then what happened? Why did you stop? Why did you stop being a competent guy, right? What got you too comfortable, right? And being comfortable is it happens to everybody. Okay, I get too comfortable too, but I catch it quicker than most people. Okay, because who doesn't get comfortable, right? Who doesn't? Isn't it a lot easier to be like, to just wear the same thing and just go out and not really dress up, right? So when they be like, oh, because me, Mitchell, you gonna wear the same thing again? Like, maybe. Why? I don't know. So I'm there to pick up the cues. I'm like, okay, gotta change it up a little bit. She's putting her best foot forward. She wants to look great for me. Put in a little bit of effort too, Mitchell. Go out. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money on clothes. I mean, you can if you want, but have clothes that fit. Change up the colors, right? Different styles. Put your best foot forward. That's what it is. When he spoils you, you're weak, right? And what do you feel? You're like, oh my God, best thing happened. Best thing that ever happened. So, do you get too comfortable, right? It gets the best of us. It all happens, right? The idea is to catch it before it slips too far deep into the deep end. Basically, that's what it is, right? And it's a lot. It is a lot. And relationships are not easy. They're fun in the beginning, but it's not easy. It's really about understanding, right? It's understanding her, what she wants and what she needs, right? Because, and this is just me telling guys. Now, if you're a woman and you're listening to this, flip it the other way around, right? What can I do? Like, if you're a woman and you're listening to this, ask yourself these type of questions. What can I do to make his life easier, right? What can I do to show him that I love him more, right? What can I do? Because men needs the same thing too, right? He wants to feel loved because that's a basic human need, love and connection, right? So what is it that you could do to make him feel like he's important into your life? Like his effort is being appreciated because he shows appreciation in yours when you're washing dishes in booty shorts, right? And it's like, damn, right? And I love this quote because it's true, right? It's beauty needs a witness. Beauty needs a witness. And if I see something that's beautiful and I know it, I'm not gonna be shy about it. I'm gonna be like, God damn, you look fucking beautiful. And it's, I don't know, there's something about you when you do X, Y, and Z, right? When you do dishes, or when you do the laundry, or when you get up every morning and you take care of the kids, like, it makes me feel like I could trust you to do certain things, that you're on top of everything, right? So mutual, this is mutual. You got to show appreciation. And when you feel appreciation and you share it back and you're there to give that type of appreciation, you want to give it back to the other person in a relationship, right? So anyways, that being said, that is the end of the show. I'm gonna have a summary. It's gonna be quick and I'm gonna call it, okay? So the summary of the first episode, the first slide, is the beginning. If you're coming to the end of the relationship, treat the person like it was the beginning of the relationship, and you won't find an end, because the purpose of all relationship is there to give. Slide number 2. When it is about you, it's no longer about the relationship. Disciplines weighs ounces, regret weighs tons, right? And these are called disciplines for a reason, because you don't always feel like you're loving, right? You don't always feel compassionate, right? And so these are disciplines. And if you don't have these disciplines, you're going to have regret. Okay? So it's called discipline because you show up even when you don't want to. Third slide, threatening the relationship. If you ever threaten to end the relationship, end it. Okay? It doesn't matter how pissed off, upset you are. This area is off limits. It's like pointing a gun to someone's face. Okay? You never point at someone unless you're ready to shoot. Okay? Or pull the trigger. So there wouldn't be an end, right? Because woman, she needs to feel safe. She needs to feel seen. She needs to feel understood, right? Because what you did in the beginning of the relationship, you dated her. You put your best foot forward. You focus on her. It was less about you. And you listened. You genuinely were curious, right? In order to be interesting, you got to be interested into the other person. So you got to genuinely be interested in what she likes and what's important, right? And take notes. What does she like? Does she like Harry Potter? Okay, she likes which episode, or not episode? Which one? Harry Potter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7B, right? Like what does she like? Who's her favorite character? Whatever it may be, right? What is she more of a savory person? What's her favorite food? Things like that. Understand her, because it makes her feel important, right? You do the same. You make him feel important. Guess what? It's a loving relationship. Okay. That being said, that is the end of the end of the relationship. End of the life. This is the end of our relationship for today. That's the end of the live, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. For this episode was, what you do to get her is how you keep her. Okay. I'll have another live coming up this next Saturday. So if you guys are interested, come join me. If not, watch it on a rerun. Learn something. Apply it. Okay? Apply these things that I'm showing you and telling you. Because if you don't, it's not going to matter. It's just going to go in one ear and out the other. That being said, I catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.